When I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm South Carolina, so I just.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Mars?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
the doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
Good morning. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We have a special show for you today. We're going to talk a little bit about marketing. We're going to talk about New York City, and we're going to talk about women in business today. So first up is all the way from New York City, Melissa Almonor. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Good. Or should we say bonjour?
Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
Ça va bien, merci.
Très bien, merci beaucoup. There we go. All right. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you
Who
for having me.
are you?
Who am I? My favorite question, everyone's favorite question. Well, I am, as you touched upon, French and Haitian, and born and raised in New York City. I have been a retail store manager, entrepreneur. I've worn many hats, but currently I am a digital marketer and brand strategist. And I currently use all of my skills and backgrounds and my education to help businesses grow. And part of that growth is their online presence.
You were born in New York City?
Yes, born and raised in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That's where my family's from, East 94th Street, over by Brookdale Hospital.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I got family over there on 81st, and I grew up in Flatbush and moved to Harlem when I was a teenager. So I've got a bit of both. I've got a bit of Brooklyn in me and some of Harlem in me, and together, it's a beautiful match.
Now, we should acknowledge you are one of our Black Wall Street honorees, where we celebrate Black entrepreneurs and professionals, as well as the people who support them, regardless of race. And to date, we've recognized over 2,500 people in 9 cities. I said that backdrop to say that while we've done several Black Wall Street events in Harlem, we've only done 2 in Brooklyn. And I'm going to blame Brooklyn because Harlem is very welcoming. It's very tourist oriented. Come on in, spend your dollars, come look around, see the brownstones, Sylvia's or Amy Roos or what have you, the Apollo even. But Brooklyn reminds me of Baltimore. Just mean for no reason. But it's okay. We did do 2, one at Brooklyn Borough Hall and one at the Weeksville Heritage Center.
Okay. Well, maybe that's something we can work on. I mean, there's definitely welcoming neighborhoods, and I guess I don't know. There's a lot going on with Brooklyn, but like you said, Harlem is a tourist attraction. So, and I'm on the Harlem Tourism Board. So there's a lot more kind of preparation for stuff like that. We're more prepared here. We have systems in place. So we've got all that kind of integrated. Whereas in Brooklyn, it's so segmented. There's so many different neighborhoods, different types of things going on. Harlem is its own little community, so it's a little bit different.
You've helped me to better understand. I also noticed Brooklyn is a little, and no slight to you, I'm talking about my experiences with my own family in Brooklyn, but Brooklyn a little stingy with the food. I'm just going to say it.
Really? Because
Oh
if you
my
go to
God.
any West Indian restaurant in Brooklyn, they're going to
I'm
pile
talking
your
about
plate. They're going to
my
pile that
family.
food on.
My family. Just stingy. Stingy with the food. Okay. Anyway, so when we think of marketing, when you get a client, what is the first? How do you assess your client? What do you provide to the client? And why do they come to you?
Well, a lot of my business is word of mouth. People, past clients, recommend me to their friends or other businesses, and that's usually how I've gotten pretty much every gig that I've gotten into. The Jazz Museum in Harlem was actually, so when I first started, came back into the city from upstate. I started bartending and then managing, and there was a gentleman that used to perform at a place called the Shrine that I used to work at, and he always remembered that I treated him well. When people necessarily overlooked him or the musicians or were just, oh, I don't want to deal with this person, you deal with him. I treated everyone from, the cooks to whoever was there with the same amount of respect. And he always remembered that. We became friends. And so every time him and his wife would come and perform, he remembered me. So a few years down the line, we met up and bumped into each other. And he said, I think I have a job for you. So he said that he was doing some work with the National Jazz Museum and they were looking for a digital marketer to help them strategize a 2-year plan. And so that's how I came on board. So that's basically how all my clients work, through referrals, word of mouth, which is marketing, but it's just more personal touch. And so when I meet with clients, they're a lot more comfortable to sit down and open up to me and discuss their needs, their struggles, because I'm kind of like family in the sense that they've been referred by somebody close to them. So what I do is I sit down and I kind of listen to what they're saying, and then I actually take a look at the business. So I might spend a couple of hours in that business, watching the flow, watching, let's say if it's a restaurant, how is the staff interacting with the customers? What is the wait time for customers between, looking at the menu, ordering, getting their drinks? What's the kitchen time looking like? And then how does the business owner, what is their role in that business itself? And then from there, I'll strategize and come up with a customized plan. A lot of times, it really just is that they haven't put any effort or money into marketing. And that's the biggest thing. And I kind of feel like I'm on a marketing crusade to help businesses because they just don't get it. They think you can have the best product in the world. You could literally have gold bullion sitting on your table, but if no one knows that it's there, how are they going to come and get it? And businesses think, oh, I've got this great idea. I was on Shark Tank or whatever, and now I got the money. I'm just going to build the product or open that business, and it's just going to be fantastic. I'm going to be super successful. And that's not really how it works, right? When you look at your business plan, there's two parts. There's the financial projections and there's a marketing part. And a lot of times when I'll say, okay, whip out your business plan. Let me take a look at what you put on there. Let's go through it and see if we can achieve these financials through the different goals and things that you set in here. And the marketing part is empty. And I'm like, how did you get funding if you don't even have a marketing plan in place? How do you think you're gonna achieve those projections in year 1 and year 2 and year 3 if you don't have a plan to get them? So you're gonna just open up shop and that's it. So I come in and I help businesses understand that. And then now that everything is basically digital, I help them get their digital presence up and running. The easiest thing is social media. We start with that. Then we do email marketing and different strategies. And from there, depending on the budget, we might go into advertising and things like that. But the basic thing is, let's get you online. Let's get you on social media.
So you talk about restaurants. Restaurants are very near and dear to my heart. I worked in restaurants as well. And anyone who's worked in there knows, you know that theft can be an issue. Asset protection, your crab meat, your liquor could be going out the back door. You know that you've got to do inventory regularly, because if you're not counting your stock, someone else is. COVID happened. The transition to now include outdoor seating. I saw in New York, it was one of the first places to push the outdoor seating, where they start shutting down streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How did it increase business for you?
Well, I will say,
From restaurants.
yeah. So at the time, I was working with Ponte Bistro restaurants, Renaissance, Harlem restaurants. And I will tell you that while everyone was panicking, because I was there, part of the business with marketing strategies, we were able to pivot very quickly. We pivoted and we decided that we were going to reach back out to the community. We were going to serve food to the community because people were struggling. Everything pretty much kind of shut down all at once, right? So people were out here hungry. So we decided to start feeding the community. We did that a couple of times. That caught the attention of a lot of community leaders. It caught the attention of local hospitals and police precincts. So a lot of those community organizations came to us to help them feed the frontline workers. We got a lot of big contracts, actually, that helped to sustain us and keep us afloat during the pandemic. But on top of that, because we were supporting the community in turn turned around and supported us. So we already had systems in place before the pandemic where we did our own delivery. And we were also very quick at turning out food in the kitchen. So what we did is we basically just moved all the furniture out the way, and we became a delivery hub and pickup hub. So people were able to come in, call in their orders, come in, get it, and be out. And so we still had a robust business itself. So we did pretty good. And I think a lot of businesses who didn't have a plan, who didn't understand marketing or business strategy, failed and they suffered, unfortunately. Some other restaurants kind of saw what I was doing and reached out to me to help them out. And I helped them out with similar contracts and things like that. I helped them create different plans and put them in place. So for me, it was great. And then as we were coming out the pandemic, that's when I got the contract with New Jersey Performing Arts Center and other different organizations, smaller organizations that help here and there. So it was great for me, actually.
Would you say that Harlem is one of the easiest things to sell?
It's definitely not difficult. I mean, you say Harlem and everybody already knows the name. You go to Europe, a lot of French people come here. I have family there. So when I've traveled there, I say Harlem, everyone already knows, oh, I've heard so many things, good or bad. The funny thing about the French is that it doesn't matter if they all heard bad things. They're still going to come. They want to check it out for themselves. They love jazz over there. So it's definitely very easy to sell. It's definitely very easy to get people interested in coming. But then we've got to keep them here, right? And so that's why we have all these great restaurants. We've got the Apollo. We've got all these great places, New Jersey, different places like that. So it's easy. You just step off a bus and there's a million things to do. There's a million things to see, even if it's just people watching.
So Michael Randolph, he's a regular. He's asking about whether or not you use paid advertising on social media. Can I handle that?
Yes, it depends also on the client's budget, because some people just don't have that extra resource in the moment to pay for it. But I always tell clients that Even $20 can go a long way. It's something that it's worth investing. And sometimes they don't think they have it, but they do have it. So when you say $20, $30, then they're like, you know what? Okay, I can allocate $100 to this. So I have done advertising on across platforms, and with Ponte Bistro, we did a big push for the Christmas time. We did a big kind of like birthday end of year like sign up for a free dessert, and we're able to lead capture data from customers, and at the same time they were able to sign up and come in for their birthdays to get a free dessert. So that helped us out a lot. And then we take that information and then we take that and do our email marketing and do email blasts.
I gotta ask you, have you ever had a client who was such a good student that they learned how to do it for themselves?
No, not really. Honestly, Meta doesn't make it easy for you to advertise on their platform. So there's like three tiers, right? So there's the easy way where you can just boost your post, add $5, boost the post. That's the easiest thing, but it doesn't get as much reach. So then if you say, all right, I want to run a campaign, you can do kind of like a light campaign. But if you really want to get numbers, then you've got to go into the business manager, and then it's like a separate account that's attached to your account. And then you've got to do like pixels, and you got to really get deep into it. And then it's always changing, right? And then the metrics change, and then the way that they've set up, just like they keep updating, Facebook and Instagram with different updates. It's the same thing that they do in the campaign manager. So it's almost impossible for just a regular business person, if they're concentrating on their business and they want to run the business, to also be running full-time ads and doing that. And that's why you need someone like me. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to sit there and write my own law briefs, whenever I have a situation. No, I'm going to contract a lawyer. I don't self-diagnose myself and operate on myself. I'm going to go to doctor. So it's the same thing, right? So there's different professionals for different things. And when it comes to marketing and advertising, you want to hire somebody. Your time is money. So your time as a business owner can be better spent opening new businesses or getting new business or dealing with the customers, retaining your customer base, doing other things than to be sitting on Facebook to be running your own ads.
That is true. Now tell me about women in entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurs. How did you become an entrepreneur? I mean, you went to school, you got these degrees, and I know I imagine someone said, get a 9-to-5, but something clicked. How did you become MelissaAlmonor.com?
I've always kind of been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. It was just something a little different about me. I remember telling my mom that I wanted to bake brownies, and she's like, "Oh, that's nice. We're gonna bake brownies." I was like, "No, I want to bake them because I can cut them up into 9 pieces or 12 pieces. I could sell them for $1 each in the lobby of my building and make some money." And that's what I used to do on the weekends, because I felt like sometimes I would ask for, kid, you ask for money for candy or whatever, and your parents like, "No, I don't want to give that to you." So I was like, I'll just create a way to make the money myself. And then I recruited a friend of mine, childhood friend. She would bake cookies and I would bake the brownies, and we would Saturday morning, sell them down in the lobby. They'd go fast.
So who'd you get it from? Your
I have
grandma?
I honestly, it probably is my grandma. So my family told me that back in Haiti, my grandma she used to sell wares and things like that. And she was kind of like a hustler to be able to put all her children through school. All of her children came to America. They all became successful. So she had to hustle to do that. And I guess that's in my bloodline, because I have no idea. I'm sure my parents used to look at me like I had 3 heads. Like, where did she come up with this idea?
What was your grandma's name? Was she still with us?
No, she's not. Sylvia.
Sylvia.
Yes.
So you got to do a tribute to Sylvia.
I should. She lived to 100 years old. And
Wow.
yeah. I think once she just got tired. She's like one of those people that was just like, all right, I've had enough of being here. I've seen all my grandchildren. Everyone's graduated. I'm not worried about anybody anymore. It's like, see you guys later. She had a great sense of humor also. She was just a funny woman, and she was great. But that's how I was. And so growing up into high school, college, in college, I was always trying to, do business and things like that on the side. And I had a couple businesses, and, I used to throw concerts. I was actually on the radio at Binghamton University, WHRW, and 90.5 FM. And so I was like the director of the hip hop radio station. So that connected me with a lot of musicians, hip hop artists. So I used to put together different shows at school. And then from there, opened different businesses while I was upstate. And then, like you said, when people like get a 9 to 5, I had some, some issues, some troubles. And so I was like, you know what, let me come back home. Let me regroup. My pockets are a little empty. Let me start working and going from there. And so that's how I started kind of at the Shrine, bartending and then managing. And then from there, just saying, okay, I want to get another degree. I want to get an MBA. I want to formally take my kind of business background and I want to formalize it, and I want to get a business degree, and I want to legitimize what I'm doing, and then I can open up my own firm. And so that's kind of what I did. And so here I am.
So tell me about Tashmere Gathers.
Yes. And so I was actually, when in the beginning, going to thank Tashmere. She connected us. She nominated me for the Black Wall Street Award. And out of the blue, I get this message, and she's like, oh, I've nominated you for this award and you've been chosen and XYZ. And I was just flabbergasted because I was just in my own zone, just kind of rebranding, regrouping myself for the next steps for the spring and summer and what I plan to do for the rest of the year. And I get this message, and I was just so touched and honored, because a lot of times people like me, we work in the background. We work to help people become successful, and sometimes not even a thank you or even a pat on the back. And so to be able to have your colleagues and your peers see you, and think so highly of you that they're talking about you in rooms that you don't even know they're in. And so she mentioned my name to you, and I showed up, last week and met you, and it was just a wonderful experience. And what a great day, what an honor. And this week has been just a whirlwind. It's kind of like, I won like an Oscar or an Emmy out of the blue, like, hey, come on stage, you won this award. So it's been an honor, it's been a pleasure. And Tashmere is just a wonderful person. I actually met her at Ponte Bistro. And so, we're working on other things currently as we speak. We've got some great projects coming up for the summertime, and I'm going to be excited to be able to announce that. But she's a wonderful person, and I'm just so, honored to know her.
So what advice would you have to particularly women entrepreneurs?
I would say, don't let anyone discourage you. Kind of keep on your path. A lot of times when you talk to people and tell them, oh, I want to do this, or this is my dream, people, not that they want to be haters or anything like that, but people are very practical, right? They don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you struggle. So people will give you their advice and say, oh, maybe you should set your sights a little lower, or maybe you should try this instead, and yada, yada, yada. And if you're someone like me that's very sure of herself and sure of her capabilities, stuff like that doesn't really affect me as much. But some people just starting out might not be. And so I would say just keep going forward, one foot in front of the other. It doesn't have to happen overnight. And so take your time to be sure, to be ready. And sometimes you just have to pull the trigger and take the leap, right? And just try it. The worst thing that can happen, somebody told me a long time ago, is that people can say no, or you don't get into the room. That door doesn't open, but another door will open. And so you shouldn't be afraid of people saying no or people closing the door on you. Just try another door, knock on another door. We've all done things that has taken practice, right? You didn't just get up one day and start walking as a baby. You got up, you tried, you fell, you got up, you tried, you fell. and in everything else, right? You don't just go to school and the first time you take the test, you get an A every time. A. No, you trial and error. So it's the same thing with business. And I would say not to be discouraged. If you feel like you have a good product and it's in your heart and it's something that you want to do, you should try it. But you should also make sure that you have a great marketing plan, because that's very important. Marketing is important. Without any customers, you don't have a business. So you have to allocate some time and energy into your marketing.
So here in Baltimore, 63% black city, 73% black and brown, very segregated city. Matter of fact, one of the most segregated in America. In New York City, you have a lot more diversity. Any thoughts on selling to other clients of other races, of other nationalities, tapping into typically uncharted waters?
For myself as my business, or just in general? Oh, my business is open to everybody. I've worked with all kinds of people, all over the place. I've had a client, Canadian client, Quinny Wine, in Canada, which, I met through a wine tasting and just happened to just enjoy the wine tasting. Talked for at length until after the wine tasting with one of the hosts, who turned out to be, upper management. And we clicked, we connected over wine. And then 2 days later, they contracted me to do a emergency wine tasting. And from there it was on. I don't think there's any barriers in terms of that, at least not in New York City. I don't know how, like you said, it works in Baltimore and other places, but I think that if you are a personable person, and you've got a great business structure, um, and you've got a great marketing plan, it should be no problem to reach out to all types of people and all types of businesses. I don't think that anything is, segmented, in any kind of way. I've worked with Douglas Elliman downtown, in Soho. They were selling a lot of high-end real estate to folks. I mean, that wasn't necessarily like, I don't make $5 million and can buy a $10 million condo. So it took a little bit of adjustment, but it's just a matter of getting into the frame of mind of the customer, kind of being able to, okay, what would this person do? Walk in their shoes, right? It's the same thing when I go into business. Okay, I'm downtown in Soho. I'm going into the Starbucks. I'm watching the other people. Okay, let me get into that frame of mind so then I know what I'm doing when I'm marketing to those people on behalf of those clients. It's kind of like that.
So you said you have a media background. How important is media to what you do? Does it behoove you, of course, to know reporters with the newspapers, magazines, television, and so forth? How does that play out in your world?
I think it definitely does help. Undergrad, I did film and photography, so that comes in handy when I'm capturing content, right? To be able to know what I'm looking for, the shots, the lighting, and things like that. It helps that I've done radio, because I know what it takes if I need to talk to other radio folks, how to reach out to them. Still have some old connects that I could just call up. Hey, can you connect me with this person? Can you get me through this? So that's very helpful. I think in media, it's a high turnover. So it's not necessarily like I need to have a set group of people, but I know the skills that are needed to get into those rooms, to talk the lingo, talk the talk, to get people interested. It helps with if I'm doing a press release and things like that. So it's definitely helpful. But I think if you're an entrepreneur, I think you have a certain set of skills that are very similar, right? So when I go into other places where entrepreneurs, we're kind of very similar, right? So even if there's something that we don't know or understand, there's something about us that we're able to adapt and learn and teach ourselves very quickly, and we're able to reach out and figure those things out. So, when I first started with my marketing firm, I wasn't a total expert on social media. It's still evolving. It's always changing and evolving, but you just jump right in, you pick up very quickly, and then you figure out the trends, and then you just go from there. And because you have a business mind, because there's something, just like a basketball player has their thing, When you're an entrepreneur, you have that thing that you just know how to navigate different avenues, and so
That
you
je ne sais quoi.
the je ne sais quoi. I was just about to say that. So um, I think it's helpful, but it's not necessarily detrimental to be able to do what I'm doing. Um, you know.
So here's a question for you. Have the politicians sought your services?
So I did work with a politician last summer, very briefly, but she decided that she wanted to hire in-house full time. Nikki Lucas in Brooklyn, 60th district in Brownsville, East New York. And so, that's a whole different animal. You have to be very, very careful about, every single punctuation mark or word that you put out there will be scrutinized. So you have to be very careful with that. Whereas if you're working with, a restaurant, you have a lot more leeway, or a small business owner, if there's a typo, people are not going to crucify you. But if you're working, let's say, with National Jazz Museum in Harlem, and you mess up a jazz musician's name, or you state a wrong fact, or you're working with a politician, that's a different kind of, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, we know about politicians. I'll tell you this, Republicans tend to pay. Democrats, I found, are cheap as hell. This is the real show. I'm going to tell it like it is.
Oh, and you know what? It's I've learned very early on that never to work with someone who wants to underpay you, because they turn out to be the biggest headaches. They want you to do $1 million job on a $10 budget. And I had one client, he must pay me like $100. He called me morning, noon, and night and texted me, hounded me for something that was just so trivial. I said, never again. I will never do this again. So I definitely, yeah, if you're not willing to spend and allocate a certain budget, then I already know where your mind is at in terms of your business, that you don't care enough about your business. And a lot of people say, well, I just don't have it. You do have it. You do have an extra couple $100 to attract $10,000, right? So when you work with me, you're almost guaranteed to get results. So if you don't want to make a profit, if you don't want to make money, you don't want customers to know where you are, then I don't know what to say to you. And then that means you're also skimping in other areas of your business. And I don't want any parts of that, because I've seen some crazy stuff.
That's like a person who wears cheap shoes. I got to stay away from them. If you cheap on your feet, how you going to be cheap on your feet?
Right.
You depend on your dogs. They're supposed to be comfortable.
Right? You don't want any corns on those dogs, right?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Want a nickel and dime you. They want all it. I found the same in the restaurant business. Black people were my best customers, but also some of my worst. The ones who were the worst didn't know ketchup from cocktail sauce, want to run you all over the damn place, back and forth, and then want to leave you a 5% tip. Well, I'll let you know, honey. I put 15, but I put my damn tip on that check in pencil. Yes, I did. And I erased it off and had the manager reprint a new one, especially them damn drug dealers. I'm getting my 20% out of them.
I've definitely been in that situation too, when I've worked in the bars. I want to order all this top shelf. Don't worry, I'm going to tip you. And then you turn around and there's no tip, and they spent $400, and you're like,
well, now here they're putting mandatory tips on. I mean, they want to, I'm sorry, $16 an hour. That's what they are offering some waiters here in Maryland.
oh, wow. Okay.
But people like the old way because they like their cash.
Right. So, I mean, as a former server, we definitely like a lot of that cash. But at the same time, the days that people are not tipping, or it's not as busy, having a set wage is definitely something that comes in handy as well. It's important. So it's kind of like a catch-22. I can't really say which one is better. Everyone's situation is different. I mean, some days, we would walk out of there with barely anything, but then some days you're walking out with $500-$600, a day. So that was great. But then what about the days when you made $30, $40 on a slow Sunday? So
Yeah, restaurant business teaches you to save.
teaches you a lot. Definitely
Yeah,
teaches you a lot.
definitely teaches you about people, teaches you not to be prejudiced. You think the white guy in a suit is going to tip you well, you give him all this attention, and it's the black guy with the tennis shorts on who pulled up in a yacht that you didn't see who ends up tipping you more. But you're over here paying attention to Peter, and Peter then burnt you.
Well, I will say when I started at the Shrine, we used to have some other bartenders and workers that were just like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get a job downtown because I'm gonna go make real money." And then they would find out very quickly, like, "Oh, I went downtown to this shishi restaurant and I make less money than I made there at the bar." And I'm like, right, because you can never tell. You should never judge an establishment by, oh, well, there's a lot of, black and brown people at this place. I'm going to make less money, and that's definitely not the truth. And so those people learned very quickly. They came back.
I want to touch on Tajmir one more time.
Yes.
When I think of your roots, your Haitian roots in particular, and I have to plug, I didn't tell you this, but I talk about Toussaint Louverture in my book, I Am Black Wall Street. And then my first book was Unapologetically Black. But when I think of Tajmir putting in a plug for you, and she did it effortlessly, seamlessly, hey, call her. And you may not notice, but she's a go-to for me. We've been working together for years. But what do you say? And I mentioned Haiti because for me, those are the strongest black people in the Western Hemisphere. They kicked the French in the hind parts, set Napoleon crying. But in terms of us sticking together and working together and sending business to each other and helping each other, something that's really deep in our DNA, but America has just caused us to be so selfish and individualistic. What do you say about us working together more?
Well, I will definitely say that there's plenty for everyone to eat, right? A lot of times, what I've found here, at least in Harlem, is that for a really long time, you had the old oligarchs keeping watch over opportunities and not allowing the younger folks to come in to eat and to participate. So you go to a lot of these meetings and you would see 60, 70-year-olds, and they don't want to hear anything that anyone younger than them has to say. And then at the same time, they're complaining that no one's picking up the torch and carrying on tradition and gentrification and all these different things. And so I'm scratching my head. I'm like, we're literally here trying to come in and you're not letting us in. So there's definitely a lot of jealousy in that. And at the same time, it's kind of like we do respect the people that have come before us. And that's why we're here. We want to learn from you. But if you're not allowing that, then that can't happen and legacies won't be passed down. And I've personally been blocked by different people who just see my face and don't like me. Oh, I don't like her. I don't like her face. I don't like that she's doing this. And at every turn, when I'm trying to conduct business with them, they'll just do little things just to won't address you personally in an email, things like that. Will just skip right by you and address your client when you're literally the one corresponding with them, making things happen for them that the client didn't even want. That you're telling the client it's in their best interest to team up with this person. And those people are like, oh, I love the client so much. And you're like, the client could care less, right? I'm the one that's making it happen because I see the importance. I see the importance of continuing community. I see the importance of growing and making alliances. And so there's a lot of that. And also, like I said, there's plenty of us for us to eat. So if you have an idea and I have an idea, my idea isn't going to stop you from being successful and vice versa.
That's the bodyguard.
Okay.
Tell me about your guiding star. Where's that focus?
So for me, it's all about, just like with Tajmir, and I think that's where we connected, is that we met and we saw each other. Businesswoman to businesswoman, we had sharp minds. We liked a lot of the same things, had a lot of the same interests. we recognized a lot of the same things that were happening, and it was like anytime that I was able to see an opportunity, I would plug her in, or vice versa. And I do that with everybody. And I think that has shocked a lot of people, even people that have previously blocked me. If I see an opportunity for one person and I see, okay, that will only work with this other person, I will connect them. I don't have a problem doing that. And I think that everybody should be more like that, because it doesn't take anything off my back to do that. It doesn't make me less of a person, a businesswoman, or anything for me to be able to say, hey, you know what? I think you do great work in this, and I think you would work well working with this person. And that's kind of always been my thing. So sometimes people are like, well, what's the catch? Do I have to do anything? And I'm like, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to talk to me ever again. Like it's not about me. It's about what I see furthering, Black and brown businesses in Harlem, making sure that community ties stay intact, making sure that, hey, I see that your work, being a business owner is not easy. I see you doing your thing. You need this business. Go ahead and take that business. I can't do it. You should do it. So I think being able to support one another in that way is great. And that's what Tasmir did in this situation. She spoke to you, and this is stuff that I've done for other people many, many times. So I guess, it's paying it forward, is coming back to me. And I'm just so very grateful. And it's something that I don't even, for a while, it was something that was like, oh, wow, I wish people would say thank you. I wish people would recognize me. I wish people would know what it is that I do. And then after a while, I was like, you know what, it's fine. I'll stay in the background. And you and I have talked about that a little bit. And now it seems like all my hard work is paying off. People are actually starting to see me and see what I do. And Tasmir is one of those people, and she spoke my name into your room, and here I am. And, her and I are working on this project. And so there's other rooms that my name has been spoken in and will be for the summer. And so I'm just excited for the next step. And so this is what I try to pass on and try to replicate for other people as well. I want everyone to succeed. There's no reason why people shouldn't be succeeding, and I'm not tearing anyone down.
June 15th, Saturday, Tasmir is doing a brunch pitch down, I think, Times Square. We're gonna be there, but we're also coming back to Harlem for another Black Wall Street Awards. And we're counting on you for some honorees.
Okay. Well, I've got you. And so the Juneteenth event is going to be a big event, and you already know that. I don't want to talk too much more about it because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about it, but it's very exciting, and it's going to be a great day.
Can you tell us a little about the Harlem Tourism Board?
Yeah. So Harlem Tourism Board, our president, Tony Rogers, you might have met him in different circles or things like that. And if you haven't, then we'll definitely make that happen. He's also part of the Harlem Chamber of Commerce. He's responsible for a lot of different things like Harlem Week, helping with its inception. And it's continuing to this day. I think it's about 30 years now, 40 years in the making. And so we have that every summer. It just gets bigger and bigger. So instead of a week now, it's pretty much a month where we have different jazz and hip hop and different events. Yes, in August. And so Tony Rogers is part of that. And so we're kind of like a segmentation from that. And whereas we're getting the word out about Harlem tourism, there's a lot of new things happening. Renaissance Hotel is one of them that just opened up. We were a part of that, the grand opening, and we're very instrumental in working with the Renaissance Hotel in connecting with the community and creating events.
That's by the Apollo?
Yes, it is.
The new hotel?
Yes. And so, yep. So the GM, one of the GMs has joined the Harlem Tourism Board to kind of give us some insight. We have some, exciting new people that have come on board that have been part of other Harlem organizations and tourism things. So we're ramping up 2024, 2025 to reveal some exciting new things. Some of them we're doing trips to Africa. We've got one trip to Ghana. We've got one trip to Senegal. Yep, we did one last year as well. But it just, as more of a discovery kind of tour. Now it's becoming a yearly thing where we're investing more and more and more because we've connected with the tourism board in Senegal and in Ghana. And so we're trying to create a synergy, working synergy between the two tourism areas with the Harlem Tourism Board.
Wow. You know, now a lot of people who haven't been to Harlem, I mean, I absolutely get rejuvenated when I come to New York City. But what I love in particular about Harlem are the many different groups of black people there, including the Senegalese. I think they speak Wolof. Just so many different groups of black people, the culture, the history. I mean, just look, I could just stare at brownstones for hours.
Oh, they're beautiful. Yeah, I love them. My dream is to own a brownstone. One day, you know, have it to myself, have a beautiful backyard. There's so much rich history in Harlem that between the brownstones and different architecture. There's one street in Harlem. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the kind of, I guess, homes in Baltimore and in Philly. I don't know what you would call them, the townhouses. Yeah, they're beautiful. There's a whole street dedicated to that.
We got row houses. You know what we have too, and you bring up a great point. The gentrification, the new people. I'm seeing white women jogging in Harlem. That's just something I didn't imagine 20 years ago, but we're seeing it here also. But it starts with, sad to say, it starts with addicts. We have these white addicts that have come into the black community that we've never seen before. So they tell me that's the first wave, and then the next thing. I just want more black people. Just like in Harlem, there was a chance where black people could have bought those houses for on the cheap, and now those houses are worth $200,000 in some cases or more, $800,000.
I had family that were able to get in on that early on. So definitely was an advantage. They had some great programs, but again, we don't have access to capital in the same way, and so I think, you know, that's slowly starting to change. But we've got to get our businesses off the ground. We've got to get our marketing in place. We've got to grow our sales. We've got to, you know, invest back into the community in order to take advantage of those. So you buy a home for $1, then what? Are you getting a $500,000 loan to rehab it? What are you doing with that, right? Do you have the business sense to do that? So these things need to be taught. They need to be told, and so that's what we're lacking. And so I talk a little bit about that too, because I do love real estate, and, you know, my family has done some real estate in the past. So that's something that is probably the next step after building my brand and building my business. But it is important to own, especially in your own neighborhoods. But, you know, we've got to go out there and teach them that, you know. Doni, you've got to let them know. Buy the brownstone for $1, and then what?
I just put up a story. They just announced this here in Baltimore, dollar houses. But like you said, you got to get some money to rehab it as well. Can we bring in a guest?
Sure, yeah, of course.
I think others can benefit from your expertise as well. Cherie Brooks, Power 52, how are you?
Hi, guys. Good morning. I'm fine, thank you.
Cherie, tell them what you run.
Yeah, so I am the visionary co-founder, president and CEO of Power 52 Foundation. And we are here. I like to say that we serve on the front lines of environmental justice. How do we do that? We have the first clean energy private career school in the state of Maryland, and we are approved by the Maryland Higher Education Commission. We do also do tons and loads of community outreach, training individuals, teaching individuals, educating individuals about why they need to be in this clean, green economy, because it's an economy. The government just put in they have earmarked $3 trillion. I used to say it was billions, but yesterday I learned $1 trillion towards clean and renewable energy. And so we've been around, coming up next year will be 10 years in this industry, creating opportunities so that our people are not left behind. A lot of times when things come and they're new, they're skeptical. And so then we are left behind. And so, it's our duty as an organization to go out and into these communities and educate them so that when people come their way, pushing clean and renewable energy, that they are educated and that they have, a modicum of understanding of what to expect so that they can embrace it. And so we're here training, educating, and then providing projects that we like to leave behind. We built the first resiliency hub in the nation, servicing well, at the time it was Baltimore's biggest public housing community, Perkins Homes. And so that's just something that we're proud of. And we've done other clean and green infrastructure projects. So we do like to leave some things behind.
Well, here's one similarity that I've concluded about both of you is that you are not afraid of the community.
Oh, no. At all.
So let me just throw this fact out there. 9 years ago today, Freddie Gray died. There was a huge, you may remember this, Melissa, but here in Baltimore, it was the first major unrest since the 68 riots. It wasn't as bad as the 68 riots, but it was certainly the worst day of many of our lives here in Baltimore. But this lady works in this very same community, and easily she could, just like you could go to upstate, you could go to strictly Manhattan, but both of you choose to work in the community. And I want to know why.
Well, I feel like this. I am a product of the community. My grandparents built one of the churches that reside right in Sandtown. And so my family, they're dedicated to servicing the community. I feel like it's my just due. This is my calling, that I'm supposed to provide opportunities. Being a product of Baltimore City, what would it do if I didn't, pull people up also and teach them about, the things that I know to provide them opportunities to get involved, when I clearly see that, the renewable energy sector is in its infancy stage. And it's time for us not to just get in and be entry level, be stuck in these entry level positions. Get in early so that you know more and you can do more and boss up and be leaders in the industry. So I'm just married to the cause.
How about you, Melissa? Why aren't you afraid of the hood?
I grew up in the hood as well. And so I grew up here. Harlem, gave me a lot of opportunity when I was down and needed a hand. And so I'm giving back as well. I wouldn't be where I am today without the experiences. And so I'm just grateful. I'm just really grateful. And I've met so many great business people here, people that have taught me next level stuff that I was shocked would teach me, different things. And so I'm just, I'm working in the community that I love, that has given back to me. I want to give back to it. And I've seen Harlem change. I mean, right before my eyes, between the time where I went to college, I came back to now. I mean, it's like a whole different thing. Some of the blocks that I walked by 10, 15 years ago, just straight rubble, now are built up. So it's like, if anyone should have a say and hand in Harlem, should be me. I was here. I've been here. So I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that growth.
And Doni, right quick, let me just say this. I love that you asked that question, because we're doing this community cleanup in Sandtown tomorrow. And so, interesting enough, we have done community cleanup other places, and we may have 70 volunteers. So this year, same time of year now, although it's on 420, that's the only difference. But it's still Earth Day community, and y'all don't act like you don't know what 420 is. Melissa, I saw you laugh. But this is so my staff asked me, why don't we have as many volunteers this year? And, we were saying, well, is it because it's on 420? What's going on? And then this morning it dawned on me. And Doni, you just said the question. You just said it. Are people scared to come into the community? And that concerns me. And so I just feel like that we need to change the perception of what
We got
gated.
white people buying dope here. They're not afraid to come here.
Right. But this is true. I do see them. But
And
I
they
don't
ain't going
know.
no, Melissa, they
we
are
just
in
gonna take
here.
it to
They
420.
squatting. They are here.
They
I
there.
think you need to give them a broom.
Okay, let's do it. So we're gonna blame it on it being 420 then?
Maybe you got to give them a couple of samples and promise them a trip to the dispensary.
We can give them some munchies.
That will help. Well, food always gets people to come out, you know, sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I do a community meeting, you got to offer some food.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
And
have
t-shirts.
some.
T-shirts
Right.
always work.
Right, t-shirts. Exactly.
Good stuff. Well, anything else you ladies like to add? I am proud of both of you. New York, Baltimore, we're all one big family, and however we can help each other and inspire each other. This is one thing, Melissa, I had to pass this on. Cherie works with a celebrity, the 52 and Power 52.
I don't work for.
I said
work for
work. I said works with.
Oh yeah, okay. I misheard you.
No, I know you do the work. Calm down, killer. Who's 52?
So Ray Lewis is my business partner, and yeah, that's who it is. Do you know Ray Lewis, Melissa?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, because some people, if you're not into football, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard the name. I'm not like a big football fan, but I definitely heard the name. I know kind of overview. Yeah, no, that's
I can
awesome.
tell.
One of the greatest Baltimore Ravens ever. Got a big old statue downtown, Ray
Exactly.
Lewis.
An NFL Hall of Famer, definitely. Got to give him his props.
So, Melissa, you get to work with some celebs. You didn't do any name dropping, really.
No.
One name. Just drop one.
I mean, I can't really now I'm like stuck. I can't really think. I mean, in the past when I did music, I've been to the Grammys. I already know people are gonna make fun of me for saying this because all my friends do. I've met Jay-Z, Mariah Carey. I've met just pretty much almost any kind of celebrity that is current now. And I've been in a lot of those rooms. At the time, I think I was a little bit more nervous. Not starstruck, but like nervous, like, oh, you have to have your elevator pitch and you got to be ready and blah, blah, blah. That during those times, I wasn't really able to maximize or capitalize as much as I wanted to with those opportunities. But I think, coming full circle with some of the projects that I have coming up with Tasmir and different things for the summer that I'll be able to kind of circle back on some of those things. But
how's your perspective on celebrities now that you are more of a veteran? Do they put their pants on just like everybody else?
Oh, definitely. I've learned that a lot of them are like super insecure, believe it or not. Like they're just like me and you. They feel the same way. You're like, they're going to a show. Oh, I'm going to go perform. Oh, I'm so nervous. That I'm like, but you've done 50 million shows already. Like, yeah, but it never gets any easier. So does it make me feel so bad? Like when I went to accept the award last week and I was just, so nervous and reading from my phone and
you ain't gonna do that no more. I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna snatch that from you.
I know how you feel, Melissa.
We're gonna snatch that from you, Melissa.
No, today I'm a lot more relaxed. I think I'm a lot more in my element doing this. I think I've never actually gone up and accepted an award for myself.
That's
Maybe
practice.
from somebody else, I'm fine. When it's anything else, I can talk about it.
That's practice because you're going to get an even bigger award. It's coming.
That's right. Call those things
name it and claim it.
Yeah, call those things that are not as though they are. Yes. I like it.
But I would love to hear more about Cherie, your business and anything else that you wanted to add, because I know that you came on kind of late at the end of the show. So
we're recruiting. We have solar PV install a training program. We call it the Energy Professional Training Program, but just to give it a little more specifics, we teach people to do solar PV installation, not just residential, but commercial as well. We run cohort style. It's 320 clock hours, 16 weeks, and Monday through Friday. Post pandemic, we are hybrid. So you just come in once a week. So about 80% is online, 20% in person. You come in and get the hands-on that you need, but definitely, we give you everything you need. At the end, you are shovel ready to go into the renewable energy workforce. We even bring our employer partners on and we insert them not just at the end, but from the beginning of the training. So they're coming on doing employer spotlights. We do field trips so that our students can ask the people running the companies, hey, what does day to day look like? What can I expect, so that they know fully what they're getting into. And then at the end, it's a warm interview. I don't know how much better that could get. You are picking the brain of the person who's going to be interviewing you at the end. You have, by the end of the training, you've earned all the credentials, OSHA 30. A lot of people do OSHA 10. We do OSHA 30 so that we're leveling you up for management. Our curriculum is accredited by the National Center for Construction Education and Research. And then also we have our Power Pathways, and that is our alumni services. So everybody who graduates from Power 52 Energy Institute, they get a Power 52 certificate of completion. We have put in place, and we just announced on Wednesday, our articulation agreement with Capital Technology. I got to get this right. Capital Technology University, because I kept saying technical. And you get college credits. So we have several articulation agreements in place so that when you want to go and further your education, you already have college credits. And through our partnerships, they're going to offer you access to scholarships, reduced tuition, all types of stuff. So it's, again, a warm handoff. We train individuals to, and we are NAPSAP service provided, and NAPSAP is industry standard certification. And so we teach you for the, no, we train, we sit you for the associates, but we teach you for the next level credential. And so once you are able to go out and get placed and work on the job and get X amount of project hours, you're able to come back through us through Power Pathways and get additional stackable credentials. So everything we do is a means to something else, not just we're going to teach you this and hand you off and we don't know you any longer. No, we are a family here, and we want to make sure that all of our graduates, anyone who comes through Power 52, that you have everything you need to be successful. I mean, we onboard, returning citizens. We work with the court system so that, so that you can, instead of getting jail time, you can come to us. And so we're about mentoring. We open up all of our classes with a mentorship. We call it power principles, but they are workshops so that we can break down these barriers, have great conversations. We do financial literacy, resume building. Oh my goodness. It's just everything somebody would need. Professional headshots, LinkedIn accounts, just this thing goes on and on and on. The list goes on and on and on. And guess what? We're recruiting. We are recruiting. Yeah, that's somebody from my staff right there. Follow us on at Power 52 Official on all social media platforms, so that you can see the testimonies. If you don't want to hear it from me, because of course I'm going to say we're great, but hear it from our students who have participated and who are literally working in the renewable energy sector. And, we help to change their lives. And that's what it's all about.
How much money have you raised at one time before?
Well, right now we are actually getting ready to onboard our first federal grant for $1.4 million. And so that is the biggest at one time. But definitely that, listen, working with this federal government is something else that I'm learning.
Melissa,
But
do you delve into federal contracts, 8A certifications, MBE certifications? Is that something that
That's something I have to get into. I haven't really done it, just for lack of the time because I've been so busy with other clients. And like you and I were speaking, before, time to start reinvesting into my own brand and complete my WMB certification and start getting those contracts. But I do know colleagues of mine that have filled out the forms and the contracts, and they're lengthy and they're long. And I've actually been part of a process with a colleague. We were trying to get a contract, and she was bringing me on board as kind of like the digital marketing piece. And we had to do like an online interview with that group. And she had explained to me that she had to submit all like 52-page document beforehand and all of these emails prior on top of the interview and then on top of the review process. So it can get very lengthy and tedious. And so in a way that discourages a lot of people from being able to get this money, including myself, right? Do I spend my time writing 52 pages or do I get this money up front right now?
well, see, and I think because I could definitely get on my soapbox about that. I think that's a part of the. I'm not going to say scam,
well,
or to
it's
keep
a
us
carrot.
out.
It's a carrot they dangle out here for you. And so let me just give you my 2 cents.
Mhm.
I get contracts with a phone call. If I got to depend on MBE, I would starve because I don't have that kind of patience. And I like the Republicans because they pay me quicker because Democrats want to always talk me down off my damn price. And like you said, I'm not coming down. It's starting at 1,500. Stop playing.
No, but you said it right. Especially with the Justice 40 executive order, the Inflation Reduction Act, like when I say $3 trillion, 3 point so many trillions of dollars is flowing in the renewable energy sector. And so it is like a carrot because it's not for the faint of heart. Like literally, I'm going to tell you, this is the hardest. Like me and my staff, we have stayed in the office until like 12:30 a.m. working on stuff, just trying to get this money.
Mhm.
I hear that it gets easy once you get in, but listen, it's
One,
not.
one federal contract will set you straight, though. The
Mhm.
8A, the federal, the White House stuff. One
Right.
federal contract. And thanks to, we had a congressman here in Maryland, Perrin J. Mitchell. He was one who helped work on that uh, back in the 60s and early 70s. One federal contract can make you a millionaire.
Mhm.
Right. But I
Eight,
guess
eight program.
it's part of the process to weed out who's really serious,
Right.
who's, doing stuff. But at the same time, it's a bit too tedious,
It
and
is.
consuming. And they should try to make it a little easier, especially now in this digital age. Like, why are you still typing out, all of this stuff and repeating it and doing all this?
Well, here's the thing. I got to throw this in there. White women benefit off of the Minority Business Enterprise Program more than anybody.
Mhm.
More than anybody. White women. So it's nothing for white men to put their woman up front in many instances where they are taking advantage of privilege all over again. That's
Yeah.
not very encouraging to me. And then secondly, when you do get a contract, you are a subcontractor. So you're typically waiting on this white prime to treat you like a fair human being. And there have been many instances where people report, hey, they're not paying me on time.
Mhm. Well, and and
So
so that was.
they use you to get the contract, but after they get it, they play dumb on you.
And so, and so a lot of people, that's what they do to get in because it's so tedious.
Mm.
However, that's why it's so important to me. And I will do the work and do everything that I need to do because we're the prime. Okay. And so even with when building our program out, So many different organizations across Maryland, they do training. But they came to me and said, "Oh no, you need to be a private career school." And so it was the same type of thing. Like, wait a minute, why do I have to be a private career school? Everybody else is doing training. And so I thought of it as a bad thing until the person at MHEC that was assigned to me said, "But guess what?
What's MHEC?
Ashley Wallace, she used to work at MHEC."
What is MHEC?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maryland Higher Education Commission. She was the person assigned to me, and she said, "But guess what? You are one of two nonprofits in the state of Maryland's history to ever be approved to own and operate a private career school." And then I said, "Would that sign me the heck up?" Because to be able to say that, to be able to create more opportunities, that was major for me. Even when I created Power 52 again, and I went to get our accreditation, and they said, "Oh, well, just like Doni was saying, oh, go up under this other organization, white led organization, and get your accreditation, or go up under." I said, "No, I want to be the accrediting person." So I set Power 52 up so that we can be an accredited training sponsor, because now we are replicable. We can go and empower other organizations who desire to do what Power 52 does and credential them up under us. So right now we're looking to scale, and then you could have, I don't know, the Donnie Glover solar PV powered by Power 52 and have all of the benefits that we have created. And so that is my mission and goal moving forward. How do we scale Power 52 Energy Institute so that people don't have to go through all of the tedious things that we went through, and we will just oversee what they're doing? So it's just not about the power, like we like to say, but empowerment.
So before we get out of here, Melissa, I want you to give us your elevator spiel again. Tell us who you are, why people need to contact you, and again, congratulations. Matter of fact, Cherie, did you get a Black Wall Street Award?
I did.
So both of you are Black Wall Street honorees. Yay!
So if you want to elevate your business, you want to get your business out into the digital landscape, you want to grow and scale, you should contact me. You can go to melissaalmonor.com. You can find me on Instagram at mel_a1, or you can call Doni and ask for me. Basically it.
Cherie, you want to put a plug in? Why? And tomorrow, where we coming tomorrow?
Okay, I got so much stuff to plug. Okay, you're coming to the 1300 block of North Calhoun Street if you're interested in volunteering for the community cleanup and reference. Not in reference, but as we reserve, as we honor Earth Day. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Earth Day.
What time?
Okay. At 9 a.m. Okay. Also, we do have our fundraiser that's coming up. We have a few networking event tickets left. It is Power 52 Live on the Green, happening May 21st, Tuesday, May 21st, at Turf Valley. It is a golf outing. I think it's one foursome left. So that's
Ray
out
Lewis
there.
gonna be there.
He's going to be there, as well as some other, notable Hall of Famers. I can't say any names, but it's going to be a great time. I can't say. I'm sorry. But Ray is going to be there. He's excited about it. He's ready to turn up. Okay. Also, we are enrolling. So if anyone is interested, guess what? It's at no cost to the community. We give you everything, the knowledge, the education, the tools, the everything you need to be successful. Check us out, power52.org/training, or you could just go to power52.org. We're recruiting right now. Let me think. What else do we have? It's always something. Just go to our website, follow us on social media at Power52 Official, and you can definitely stay connected with all the great things that we're doing.
I'm proud of you both, considering that we as a people have $1.6 trillion in annual disposable income. And in most instances, you women control that money. We are proud of us being in business. We're the biggest consumers. They call us super users. We shop when nobody else is shopping. Even on St. Patty's Day, we're out shopping other people. But it's time that we corral those dollars and take care of our communities from Harlem to Sandtown. So I appreciate you both and keep up the great work.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, and Cherie, you're doing great work and just wonderful. And maybe one day I get to meet you in person.
Yeah, let's connect. Let's connect.
Sounds good.
For
Thank
sure.
you.
Good deal. Up to day, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning, world.